Welcome back to the 1885 show, where today we are doing something a little bit different for us. I think it's fair to say we're all pretty sick of talking about a playoff heartbreak, pretty sick of talking about what happened against Hull on that Monday night. So we've decided now is the perfect time to start looking ahead to next season and getting hopeful again. In today's episode, we're going through the entire squad, player by player, and giving our verdict on whether we think they'll still be at Millwall next season. And then ultimately, where does that leave the squad heading into a 26-27 campaign? Now, obviously, we've got no inside information here. We're not agents. We're not in the boardroom. We are just some idiots on the internet giving you our opinion. This is purely our opinion and how we think things will play out. Then at the end of the show, we'll look at where this leaves the squad overall and the positions we think Mill needs strengthening. Spoiler alert, there are probably more than you'd think. Before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. We've said it before, we'll say it again. Once we hit 750 subscribers, we'll be giving away a signed shirt to one of you for absolutely free. So make sure you subscribe for your chance to win. And today, more than ever, get yourself involved in the comments because there's going to be plenty to debate. We'll be giving you our opinions throughout the episodes, but we want to hear yours as well. So let us know who stays, who goes, and where you think Mill needs to recruit in this summer window. Joining me today for a special episode, we've got a full house, pleased to say. We've got my co-founder, Jay. We've got channel regular, Charlie. And finally, by popular demand, the long-awaited return of Callum. Let's start there, mate. So we'll talk about the squad and where everyone's going to play out. Where on earth have you been?
Before we do that, is Callum, is he squad? Is he start? Like, what are we getting rid?
Well, look, we'll discuss that as the show goes on, mate, because that is very much on the fence. Probably shall be going on loan somewhere.
Going on loan I know some places have a lot of openings, so you can.
All right, Callum, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, boys. I'm all good. Lovely to be back. Obviously, I've been a ghost tonight recently, so yeah, it's lovely to be back. See you all again, and yeah, just shaking off the loss, mate. To be honest with you, I've been a bit of a whirlwind week or so since the loss, but no. Yeah, I've shaken off now, but yeah, it's just we've got to look into next season now and look into the positives, really.
No, 100%, mate, 100%. It was good to have you back. Hopefully you don't disappear quite as long this time. Charlie, how about yourself, mate?
Yeah, no, been good, mate. Finally over. Well, I think I'm over it and ready to go for next year. And yeah, it's been one of those ones where I think even still today, like I'm still getting reminders about like from workmates and whatnot being like, oh, 2-0, 2-0. But you know, it's going to be what it is, and we just got to move on from it.
No, exactly, mate. You seem to have recovered from the game, but I'm not sure you've recovered from Jay's choice of music on the drive up to Hull.
No, it's very much a topic of that. It was either that, it was either a German rock band or Cher. There was no in between.
What was that?
They're two great choices.
Me sleeping.
Callum's trying to get himself into the squad there. Look,
there's two great choices. I wouldn't complain either way, to be honest with you.
I know you wouldn't, Cal. I know you wouldn't. Maybe Charlie will be available for loan. We'll soon find out.
Last but not least, my co-founder, Jay. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm actually doing a lot better than I thought I would be, to be fair. I think, as you touched rightly on the heartbreak episode, it's just been an amazing season. I'm actually riding a little bit higher, to be honest. Disappointed, but I think I'm quite glad that it's not been a free run at us for missing in the playoffs because of how certain other clubs have acted. Shall we say not too much on that, but so they're taking a lot of the attention, which is good. So it's given me a little bit of a cleaner path to the off season. But I'm really optimistic. I'm looking forward to this show as well. I think it's going to give us a real good insight into what we might need and how busy Gallon might have to be.
Yeah, no, exactly that. Joe, what? It's a funny one. This has got nothing to do with the show, but we'll just have a chat, won't we? I saw someone on Twitter the other day saying the only fair thing to do is let Middlesbrough and Millwall have a game, and then the winner of that goes into the final. And I thought to myself, I'm not sure I can get knocked out of the playoffs twice in 1 year. Do you know what I mean?
I think
leave us alone.
I agree. And look, if we're talking about fairness in the game, right, that wouldn't be a fair outcome either, would it? We lost. We got beat. Yeah. Hull beat us fair and square. They was the better team. We don't deserve to have another shot to make Wembley or to make the Premier League. We had our chance. We blew it. You know, fair play to Hull. Good luck to Hull as well. They got there through Similar circumstances to us. They was written off, made it the last day, transfer embargoes, recruited well, good manager. They beat us. They deserve all their flowers, and I hope they do get their flowers at the end of it as well, because I feel gutted for Middlesbrough. I do feel gutted for Middlesbrough. Hopefully that situation gets resolved. But yeah, we don't. It'd be the Millwall in me says, yeah, go on, fuck it, let's have another go. But look, we had our shot. Next season it'll be different.
No, exactly that. But let's get started then. So we planned this show in, and then Millwall sent out their tweet yesterday of their player announcements of who's staying and leaving. So that did half our job for us. So we'll just quickly run through that, what Millwall announced, in case anyone hasn't seen it. So players that have gone: Joe Bryan, Danny McNamara, Wes Harding, and Massimo Luongo. Players that are currently negotiating new deals with the club: Billy Mitchell and Joel Coleman. Players that have got new deals: Ryan Leonard and Casper Denot. Loan players that will be going back to their parent club: Anthony Patterson, Tiano Ballo, Will Smallbone, and Tommy Watson. So already there, quite a few players leaving that have featured at some point this season to some capacity. There's already a bit of work there. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through position by position. So we'll start with the goalkeeper, obviously, and we'll work our way forwards, centre forwards. I'll call out a name, and what I want from you boys is just a starter, backup, get a shot. And then, depending on that, we'll start to plan him in. If we can't come to a consensus, we'll have a bit of a discussion about him, but I've got to say, I think most of these will probably agree. And we'll go from there, boys. So we'll start with the goalkeepers then. The first one is obviously Jensen, a bit of an odd one. Missed, a year and a bit of football now. Do we think he'll be at Millwall next season? And if he is, at what capacity?
No, I don't think he'll be, in terms of, I think he'll probably want to come back and be number one.
Mhm.
And I don't think at this point, I think I'd rather have Max over him in this stage of the season, and obviously going into next year. And I think Max has earned that from his display this season. And obviously, I think Max is more likely to be okay with being a number two rather than Jensen, who might kick off a fuss and want to be number one. So
Yeah, I've got to say, I think I agree, mate. I think with Crocombe in a minute, you just know what you're going to get, right? You know what sort of keeper you're getting. Who knows where Jensen even is in his recovery and if he's capable of playing anymore.
yeah, I mean, it's a real shame. Again, it's one of them ones where it's no fault of his own. It's just an injury that's obviously hindered his career. And he was showing good performances just before he got injured as well. And I think for him as well, he had that pressure of obviously trying to replace Matty Sarkic, and it just hasn't worked out for him, unfortunately.
I personally think that I don't think the number one goalkeeper's in the squad at the moment. I don't think Jensen. I don't think we're going to be able to offload Jensen. I do think he might just continue his rehab, however that looks. Do like Crocombe. I think Crocombe will be here in some capacity. There's a reason we're talking to Coleman as well, trying to extend him for that third keeper spot. Obviously, Evans will probably go back out. I don't know where in what capacity Jensen will be at this club at. It's difficult for him. It's difficult for us because we can't plan for him to be here in any sort of playing capacity. Like I said, I don't think the number one goalkeeper's on the books at the moment. I like Crocombe. There's a reason, as I said, we're talking to Coleman. I would put Jensen in the unknown category for now, because it could go either way. He could come back, make full recovery, have a great pre-season, and you're set with your two goalkeepers and Coleman, or it goes the other way and it just doesn't, he doesn't materialise for him. So I'm gonna put him in the unknown category instead of the starter squad or get rid.
Callum, what about yourself, mate?
I think that Jensen will go because it sort of reminds me of Roberts. I think last season when he left to play full regular football. Obviously, I know he had the Palace situation and things like that, but I think that I don't know. I think the injury came at the wrong time for him, and it sort of detrimented his season a little bit. So I think he probably need to go out and play full-time regular football. So I think he'll probably drop down to League One. Crocombe, I really like Crocombe. I think he'll probably, as the boys said, I think he'll be number two. And then obviously we've got Joel coming in this three, but I can just see us getting a new goalkeeper in the summer. I can't see anything else. I just think that obviously Patterson has just shown us this year that we need a couple of levels above the keepers that we've got, maybe one or two. And that's just the way it is. I think now that depending on what the objectives are next season, whether we're going for promotion or playoffs again, I think we can now see that, the goalkeeper needs to be playing the ball out with a feet, plus, a good shot stopper and all that. So it's a combination of everything. So yeah, that's, for me, Jensen's gone.
No, I think I agree. So I'll tell you what, with Jensen then, we'll go with the general consensus, which is that Jensen needs to move on. Looking at the rest of the goalkeepers, then you've got Max Crocombe, probably number 2. I think Joe Coleman will probably end up staying on at some capacity as the third choice keeper. And then Evans goes out on loan again, I guess.
Yeah, I would have said so.
Spot on. Right, okay, so that's one position done, and we've agreed that we don't have a goalkeeper for next season, which is ideal. So that's certainly one of the club we're looking at. Let's move on to right backs then. Obviously, as we discussed at the top of the show, Danny McNamara, we already know, is leaving the football club. Ryan Leonard is staying, but I think it's safe to say that Leonard will be a backup right back again. You all agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Lenny didn't actually trigger the requirements for his option either. It was appearance based. He didn't trigger that, but the club have done him a solid. Rightly so. I think Lenny's been an outstanding servant for us. Sacrificed probably everything about his game to convert to right back. What got him to this point in the first place, and he's been a really, really serviceable player for us. He carries himself really well as well. It's good to have him in the dressing room, I think, and around the squad. So I do think he's a squad player. I don't think he's a star. I would be concerned if Ryan Leonard was starting in any capacity next season. I really do think squad is the best for Lenny.
Yeah, completely agree, mate. So probably the first one I think where we're going to have a real sticking point here. Tristan Kramer been playing right back all season. Do we think Kramer will be a Millwall player come the start of the 26-27 campaign?
I mean, I hope so. I think I really like Kramer. He's probably my favourite player in the team. And obviously I hope he stays in terms of personally and obviously just for the team in terms of going forward. And I feel like if we are going to push back for playoffs again, we want our best players. But in the capacity of a right back, I think he's been forced there. I think I saw a stat on Twitter that said he's played 25 games in both centre back and right back. I don't know if that was true, but if he has played half and half, I feel like his best performances have come at right back, unfortunately for him. But it's obviously a good thing for versatility. But I obviously would prefer him to be at centre back.
It's interesting you say that because I actually think his best performances have been at centre back.
I do as well.
Yeah.
I just think back over the course of the season, when Femi and him were on it, that's where majority of the times where, we were getting the goals and assists from until obviously it got worked out that we were very right-handed heavy. But
that's interesting. I agree with that. So he's been better at centre back, but we've missed him more when he hasn't played when he hasn't played at right back.
I think we've got to look at the formation that we're going to play as well, right? I mean, I think Cooper's still got the legs. I think Cooper's still going to start next season along with Taylor. Is Kramer the right back for next year and we get someone to back him up? In that case, we need to go and get another centre half. I would personally switch to a back three for next season and I'd play all three of them and go and get a proper wing back, an out and out wing back that's his bread and butter. That's what he does, and move Kramer inside and Sturge and Alfie can be them wing backs. I think that'd be a really good back five there. I think Kramer. I don't think Kramer goes. It's interesting that he picked up that injury. We don't know the status of that injury yet, how bad that is or how bad it isn't. To whether that'll affect any transfer ability. I think him playing at right back half the games and playing at centre back half the games, I think actually might go against him a little bit because it's not like he's solidified himself as a right back completely or solidified himself as a centre back completely. So while he is versatile and clubs do love that, he isn't this one position man. Do you know what I mean? It's and clubs do want versatility now, but it's, are you the master of one or are you the sort of jack of all sort of thing, So
Yeah.
I do think that you'll get clubs interested in his versatility, but you really go out for a need, and it's dependent on what Kramer actually wants to do. He said he prefers to play as centre back. I don't think he'll want to go into next season as a right back. I think it was get us out of danger this season. I really don't think he'll be too happy if he's told he's the right back next year. So I think we'll have a bit of a formation change, or does Cooper drop out? I don't know, but I think he starts. With our builder you've got on the thing, though, sorry, Charles, with the builder you've got on, I mean, we could put him at right back now, because that's where, that's where, as it stands right now, he's probably going to play. But yeah, it's very interesting to see what we'll do formation-wise with Cromwell.
I'm not, Charlie, I'll hand over to you in a second, mate. But I mean, so I guess, what are we saying? Are we saying that Kramer stays?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm saying he stays. And I think we switch to a back three.
What about you two? Do you think he stays?
I don't think he'll stay.
Do you know what? Jay makes a good point, actually, because obviously he got injured against Hull. It depends how long that injury is, and will clubs come in for him if he's got that injury and if it's a long period of time that he's out. So it all depends on that injury, really. Now, I don't know what the injury is or how long it's going to be, but if he is injured for a long period of time, then I think he probably stays. If he doesn't, and he has a good full pre-season, I can't see him staying, because I think other clubs in the Prem will be sniffing around him. So it's 50-50 for me, this one.
I'm going to say he stays. I don't know why. I've had a feeling for a long time that he's had a really good season, but he maybe hasn't done well enough to get the figure that I think Millwall will want from him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think we'll want big money. I'm not sure a club comes in for the money we'd want. So I guess the next question is, we'll plug him into the starting 11. Where do you want to put him in? Do you want to put him in a right back, where he's been this year, or do we move him to right side of centre back, where we think he is better? And Jay, before you say it, I'm not changing to a back three formation.
Then I'd put him at right back. For the purpose of, we have to populate our board to signify a star, and I think he at the moment he is when everybody's fit, he's the right back star until that changes in the window.
Cool. So with that, then we've got our right back starter. We've got our right back up with Ryan Leonard. Do you boys still think we probably need to go out and get another right back in the window? Bearing in mind, as we just discussed, Kramer is really a centre back.
100%.
Yeah, I think we need to go and get a starting right back. No kind of player that's going to come in and see if he's good enough to play out there and cover over. I think we need a really good championship right back that's going to go forward.
Yeah, I think we need to really invest heavily in the right back position. I want to move Kramer inside. If you're not going to do that, then you need to go and get a top quality centre half as well. You've got to have iron sharpens iron mentality. And at the moment, there's nothing behind Kramer. There's nothing behind Taylor. There's nothing behind Coops. So, yeah, I think, like Charlie said, a proper go and really invest in that position and solidify that back four.
Cool. Right. Centre back could be an easy one. Caleb Taylor.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Caleb Taylor, in my opinion, I think Caleb Taylor's got future Millwall captain written all over him. I think he's going to be a very long time. I think he's going to be one of them. Very interestingly enough, a bit like Jake Cooper, where he's going to be so good for us, but it just won't generate that interest. Just won't get and it's a really weird position for certain players to be in. And I'll purely put that down to the fact that he ain't foreign, or he's not got this double-barreled French name, or I just think they're going to see this English fella, Caleb Taylor. Obviously, I believe he's English. Caleb Taylor playing for me, or they're not going to bat an eyelid, same as they do very much for Jake Cooper. Apart from Cooper had that little Rangers interest at one point. But I think Caleb Taylor. I think he's one of the first names on the team sheet. And I think he's got future Millwall captain all over him. He's one of the sort of four players that I have in my list of you build the team around for next season. I think you've got to look at Taylor being that main man at the back there.
Oh, next one. Captain Jake Cooper. Does he stay? Does he start?
Yeah. He stays.
Yeah, he stays and starts.
Yeah, I'm going to say he stays and starts as well. Yeah,
I think this is going to be his last year in terms of starting. Though I think this is I think this is his last year of full season playing, because I think, as I was going to say earlier, I think if it was going to go down to in terms of who's the actual better, I would rather have Taylor and Kramer as the centre backs. But we
Me
have
too.
to. I guess Cooper's obviously deservedly kept his place in there, but.
I think that'll eventually be the plan, won't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think this is Cooper's last year, and then you go, if you do keep Kramer, then obviously you go with Taylor Kramer, and obviously you get two good wing backs.
Do you think then, boys, that maybe if we do go and get a solid right back, a starter right back, what does happen then? Because Kramer's not going to sit on the bench. You ain't dropping Taylor. Do you reckon Cooper then does revert to that squad role, that Paul Robinson, that Sean Hutchinson type role, where he does reside himself to be that player and let the two youngsters, take the ball by the horns at that point?
I've got to say, mate, I doubt we'll ever get into a situation where it comes a one or the other. You look at Taylor, unfortunately, there's quite a few injuries this year. Cooper's only getting older. He will get to a stage where he starts needing to be managed in terms of his minutes. Cranmer's just an absolute freak of nature. How he's been fit for as long as he has, who knows? Whoever we sign for right back probably won't play 46 games. That's just the reality of the situation. I can imagine a situation where if you look at their then 4 players, there's always going to be someone out, right?
Yeah, I think so. But that's what you need. That's what's let us down. You need to be able to move things around. You need versatility. You need to look at our team set up and adapt. And unfortunately, with our back 4 this season, we've had very little to zero room to be able to change it up properly and adapt and adapt different formations. We need that depth. We need right backs. We need centre backs. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, I think that's that's the 3 nailed down, I think, as it stands, isn't it? I'm probably going to all agree on the 4th as well.
Yeah. But before we get onto left backs then, we've obviously got Wes Harden's already left, so we can move him straight on. Colin Grant, does he have a place in the squad next year? Obviously went out on loan to Blackpool, was quite highly rated before he went out on that loan. Terrible injury. I don't even know if he'll be fit for the start of next season, to be completely honest with you.
It's a difficult one. I think... Again, you look at it as a case of we've got to decide at this point. I think he's another one that's been on loan a few times, and we've got to decide now whether he's, is he good enough to be the backup or is he not? Because we could easily go out and get a youth player like a Taylor that could be that kind of replacement role that is higher rated, that is going to be more fit and more higher ceiling than Grant. I think you got to look at that. I think if he is back fit, he is strong, he is quick. He hasn't had many minutes there, that's the issue, and we haven't been able to see him much in a Millwall shirt. But when we did, he came in and done his job. But again, I think you just got to look at it in the terms of, does he have that ceiling? Is he going to be the same player? Kind of similar to Jensen, really.
Mm-hmm. I'm firmly in the camp of just get rid. He's 23 years old now. If it isn't going to happen, if it hadn't happened already, it hasn't happened. He's had a bad injury. He's the same age as like Taylor. Taylor's what, 24, I think, just 24. And you look at the trajectory, you look at the minutes and the moments and how good Taylor is. I just don't think Grant is good enough. He's had a good sustained loan in League Two. Okay, nothing in League One. To throw him in as the backup, I just think wouldn't give me confidence. It wouldn't say that we're moving forward properly. Now, I fully agree we've got to, nurture our youth. We do need to bring our youth through. But if we really want to be a successful club, that needs to be harder. You've got to be so good to break into this team, in my opinion, or to get a squad place. Yeah. So good because we want to be so good. And I just don't think Grant has got that at all. It hasn't worked out for him. And I'm firmly in the camp of, get rid. Maybe you just loan him out till his contract ends, and you release him that way, or you see if you can get a bit for him. But yeah, I don't think he'll be around. And in my opinion, I wouldn't have him around.
Callum, do you agree, mate?
Yeah, I would. I'd tell him, Frankie. I think he's. I don't think he's good enough for champ level. I think he's more League Two, maybe bottom half League One standard. If I'm being brutally honest with you. I wouldn't have him. I think players like Grant, you almost feel a bit sorry for, because he's had a chance pre-season. He did okay, I thought, but then obviously Alex Neil came in. He didn't really think that he was that good enough to get into the squad, so he obviously went out on loan to Blackpool. Did all right first half of the season with them. Then he obviously got that injury, like you boys said. So yeah, I just think probably top of League Two and bottom end of League One is probably where he is supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, probably a lazy statement here, but if it was like a Bromley loan or a Bromley free agent, it's just written in the stars for him, right? He's obviously went there twice, done well, so
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd love to have him back. So with that, then we've got Christian Kramer as a bit of a makeshift auxiliary centre half, depending on where you play this. So that's almost 3 centre halves on the books. One of them is maybe a right back. Do we think we need another centre back?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I think we need 2.
2?
Yeah, you can't go the whole season with just one reserve, because look at what happened this year. You know, Taylor came out. Obviously, we had Kramer have to move back in. But then let's say, for example, one of them gets injured. Then who you got? You haven't got
I
anyone.
would say we need a proper right back and a proper centre. I think you need 2, but not just 2 of one position. I think get 1 right back, 1 centre back, both capable of being starters for a period of time. Not just come on for the last 10 minutes, because if someone gets injured, they've got to play more. Because you have got Kramer, who can be that versatility between the 2 positions. So essentially, with Kramer, you've got 2 centre halves. With Kramer, you've got 2 right backs, and you've also got Lenny that can do somewhat of a job in both, in a sense. So yeah, I'm going with 1 centre half that's capable of playing prolonged period of time, and 1 right back.
Cool. Callum, what about yourself, mate? Need another centre back still?
Yeah, 1 more centre back, 1 more right back, because obviously you've got Lenny as well, as Jay just touched on. And then obviously I'd go 1 left back as well. Obviously we know who's going in that left back position in a second, but we'll come on to that. But I think we need another left back as well, added on to that.
Yeah, defensively we do need a bit of an overhaul.
Yeah,
I don't
just a
think anything
refresh.
needs to be said on this, boys. I've
Yeah,
got
we'll
to be
just-
honest. I think
We'll plug him
Sturgis
straight in.
is going to start. He has to start. No more of this bringing him off. I think he's outstanding. I actually thought he was probably deserving of some Player of the Year votes. I thought Sturgis been excellent, really, really good. One of the better the left backs in the division. If we can work on his sort of attacking output a little bit more, I think we've got a massive asset on our hands. So yeah, no, Sturge for me is, and you want to have some versatility in the style, right? Because we've got another left back that we'll probably talk about in a moment, where Sturge is probably going to give us the defensive solidity, and another right back would. But you've got the likes of Kramer and whoever else we talk about, where you can change formation. So I'm really happy with Sturge, and yeah, he's plug and play for me.
Sturge was
Yeah, I agree. I think
Sturge was
sorry.
by far our best player over the 2 legs against Hull.
No, without
a shadow of a doubt. The way and you could even see it after Neil taking him off for Doughty, just how the difference was between him and Doughty was it's just mental. How the difference was between the 2 of them. It was just chalk and cheese for me.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. And you know what? We'll go straight onto that, because obviously we can cross this one off. Joe Bryan's gone. Obviously, that's a goodbye. We know the situation there. Alfie Doughty. I'm going to say it. I don't see a world in which he leaves. I think he's definitely a Millwall player next season. So I guess the discussion is he a backup left back? If he is, that's a lot of money on a backup left back, and he's probably one of the higher profile players who's sitting on the bench. Or do we think he gets moved forward to that left wing spot? Bearing in mind, again, spoiler alert, we ain't got into this, there is currently not one single left winger on the books.
I think you're absolutely right in everything you've said, and I think that will be iron sharpens iron, as I've said. Right, you can't have Zach Sturge have no one behind him, because he's not. He can get complacent. He knows it's his spot. Alfie Doughty will push him. I think we're in the position now where we need to have 2 quality players in each position to be able to go to where we want to go. And I think Alfie Doughty is a quality player. I think he will get himself, fit. He's struggled with some injuries, unfortunately. He was injured, struggled with Luton with injuries. So a good off-season where we know the issues, we can get him sorted. I do think his versatility is a reason why I'd keep him round. And you say it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money to buy a backup left back. But he can also play left wing. He can also fill in at centre mid. He can also play in a cam. He has done that at times as well. So while we might be paying a lot of money for one player to occupy that area of the field, if you worked out if we had to go and buy another left mid, if we had to go and buy another centre mid, you're probably outweighing that, aren't you? In terms of and you're bringing in 3 extra players. Doughty can cover multiple positions, and I think he'll push Sturge. And I think if you get a really fit Alfie Doughty, and you've got a dangerous player in your hands, and we should definitely get behind that. I'd like to see him play left wing. I really would. I think his delivery would be unbelievable. He'd have Sturge as his backup, where he won't have to track so deep. He can focus on that wonderful left foot of his. Yeah, I'm firmly in. He's a squad player for now. But the left wing position is definitely one that I think we should leave blank, because you can't hand it to Doughty. And as you said, we've got no one there. So yeah, he's a firm squad player for me, and if we can get him going, then he's a real asset.
Charlie, what's your thoughts, mate? So Doughty,
Yeah,
probably could be a bench player, but at left mid or at left back?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think Alfie Doughty will get in the team at some point, whether that's at left back, left wing, and as you said, he can cover in that midfield role. I do think that we haven't got a player, especially now, we assume that Bannon's going to go, that probably possesses the pass that Doughty does have on that left foot. We've seen it in pre-season. We've seen it, of course, in different parts of the season with various different assists when he has played. Obviously with Alfie, it's more of a, is he mentally ready to play? I think we've seen that across on socials. And obviously, is he fit enough to play? That's the issue. But yeah, 100%. You bring him in, and he's definitely, as Jay said, he pushes Sturge, he pushes whoever comes in into that left wing spot as backup. And I think he just gives you, if we do eventually go into different formations, he is someone that can. I feel like Sturge wouldn't be able to play at left wing back, because I don't think his attacking output is overall that great. Whereas I feel like with Alfie, if he's at left wing back, then obviously he'd thrive there more.
Yeah, I think that's probably his best position, is left wing back.
So if we do obviously go to a 3 at some point, or even if it's in game and out like on the ball, outside the ball, then obviously he will give you that option. Whereas I don't think Sturge will. So I think definitely keep.
Jay is absolutely itching to change us to a back 3.
No, I know he is.
I'm not in control, so I can't.
I won't do it. I think just to ruin his weekend. So, what we're saying there, boys? Yes or no answer? Do we think we still need a left back?
Yes.
I reckon we go. I think we go out and get a very good youth prospect that's gonna, not expect the minutes, but if he does get a chance to come in, see, kind of like a Derek. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not expected to play, but when he has played, he's proven he has the potential to break in, and hopefully, obviously, we can get that. Same for Taylor. Taylor wasn't expected to start, I don't think, and then he's pushed his way into the team. So
yes,
decent. Right, let's move on then. Centre midfield. Jesus Christ, we're starting with a big one here. Billy Mitchell. Does he stay? Does he sign a new contract? If he does stay, what's his role in the squad next year? Is he a starter? Is he a bench player? What's the deal with Billy Mitchell?
None of us know what the ins and outs of the contract situation is. And for me, if I was Billy, I'm a Millwall fan. I've come through your academy. For me, it would be a case of I'd happily take the biggest pay cut just to stick around. And but obviously, with Billy, he might feel like he's good enough to start somewhere else, and fair play to him. But if he does stay, I don't think he starts.
Yeah, this is Billy Mitchell's a tough one for me, because obviously we've sang his praises so many times this season. I think this season he's been really, really good. So for me, I'd keep him. I agree with Charlie about the contract situation. It depends. I would take a pay cut to play. But then again, it depends what other clubs are in for him. But I'd keep him. But I don't think he starts. I think he will be on the bench. But that's why I think he would probably more likely want to leave if he's not playing rather than sitting on the bench for 46 or 38 games and coming off the bench for however many games. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I love Billy. Everyone knows that. I'm a massive Billy fan. But I just think with the injuries, with what he's limited to, we'll put a tweet out. Matt, credit to Matt for this, by the way, because he did the numbers on it. But it's our goal output out from centre midfield is very, very poor. Very, very poor. Billy doesn't contribute to goals and assists. And I think we've got too much of the same midfielder. We'll talk about some of those in a moment. And I just don't think Billy is going to be a starter. I don't think he should be a starter. I think we need to get more progressive in that area of the pitch. But I do want Billy in the squad. I do think Billy can offer us legs late on in games. I do think he can offer us that grit away from home, when we need someone to grab the ball by the horns. I think Billy does a really, really good job of that. His injury issues have been a problem. But yeah, I would firmly have Billy in the as a squad player. And I definitely, if the contract's right for both him and the club, yeah, get it done. There's a reason we're talking to him because Neil obviously wants him around. So we must view him as a good squad player. And I think that's what he will be, personally.
On the flip side of that, though, Jay, if the club might want him around, but there's also a reason why he hasn't really signed a contract.
Yeah, agree.
If he wanted to sign it, he would have signed it months, if not a year ago.
I think that might be because of how underpaid he probably was and the amount of minutes he was played and the job he was asked to do. He wasn't being compensated fairly. So I do understand that as well, that although he is a Millwall fan, it's still his job. It is he's living out his dream, but it is still his job. It's what puts food on his table. It's what's going to set him up for when he retires, which he retires half the age of normal working people. So he needs to make sure he's financially set up, and he is probably heavily underpaid for the work he's put in, considering the midfielders that he's been playing with and the wages that they're probably on. So I do get it. I do get why he stalled, and hopefully there could be some common ground and there could be a meeting point to get that deal over the line, because I do think he's an asset. I do think he makes us better. And being part of this squad, keeping them homegrown players in the squad are good for our youth setup. They can see that some of these players, they come through, they stick around. When they get hard negotiating with their contracts, club will do what they can to bring them back as well. So I do think it sets a good precedent as well, keeping people like Billy around. But I don't think he'll start for us. I don't think he should. I think we need to revolutionise that room.
I'm going to be honest with you. An out-of-contract player, if he's being told now that you're going to be a squad option, you might play 30 games next year, when fit, obviously, bear that in mind, I don't think he signs. I think there will be clubs out. I think there'll be clubs out there in this league, maybe not clubs that are as currently as good as we are, so like in terms of our trajectory, but I think you'd probably sit there and go, if that's what you're telling me, if you're telling me you want me to come off the bench next year, I'll move on.
But would they say it like that, or would
I can't see him doing it?
You're going to have to fight for your position and make. And
yeah, but it means the same thing, doesn't it? It means the same thing, and he'll figure it out. He knows what he's being told.
I think that's the difference between him and Danny Mack, where Danny Mack's done it so well in terms of he's been so happy just to sit on the bench, and he's probably wanted to play, but he's never kicked up a fuss, never. But he was never kind of the starting player in that right back spot. Whereas Billy's been that starting player the whole season when he's fit. So I think that's the difference. He's probably looking at it like, I've been your starter, I've been your man, but you don't want to play me.
Surely he understands though, and where he's and what his current situation is. Surely, like, he gets it. I mean, if he's seen Danny Mack do it, then I know players as people are different and they think differently. But if I was Billy Mitchell and I'm Millwall through and through, I get that he'd like. Why would you see Danny Mack do it? Why wouldn't you want to stay for an extra year, see how it goes? Because we don't know. Maybe the contract might be saying maybe 2 years, 3 years, maybe. What do we think? What do you think the contract is? 2 years?
All of that will be part of it. I don't think he gets a lucrative long-term deal. I think he will get maybe a 12-month with an option. I think that's probably where it will end up if he does end up signing. But the be all and end all is I think we should have him as a squad player.
Yeah, definitely.
So we think we should.
Yeah.
Again, yes or no? Jay, do you think Billy Mitchell will be here next season?
No.
Charlie?
No.
Callum?
No.
Right. So, Billy Mitchell will be leaving the club this season, so he does not go onto the board, even as a bench player. I mean, I'm with you lot. I just think if we're saying to him, it was always saying to his agent, here's a contract, regardless of the length or money, is a bench option. There will be a club out there that says to him, here's more money for more money. It's going to be funny. Look at George Savile, went to Luton and got more money than we were willing to offer him. So I think that's something that will play out. And unfortunately, I think Billy Mitchell will probably leave the club.
Yeah, it's not what I want, but I think that's what we'll get.
No, absolutely that. There's a couple of players that we can cross off this list quite comfortably. Massimo Luongo obviously got announced this week. He will not be getting renewed at the expiration of his contract at the end of next month. Will Smallbone will also be returning to his parent club. Now, there is a bit of a separate conversation around Will Smallbone, which I know Jay is dying to have because he is out of contract, we believe, at Southampton. And depends on where they are next season, could be available on a free. I'm sure the club would look at that option. But, Jay, what's your thoughts on him, mate? Well, obviously, we won't put him on the board because he's definitely not a player now.
He's not a player. But if we was going to categorise Will Smallbone, I'd have him as a squad player. I think if you get a fit Will Smallbone and you get him for nothing, you'd be mad not to take that risk. We've took worse risks. There is a player there. There is an experienced player there who's still young, who's done it at this level and can offer us a lot. I thought he was really good when he did play, when he was healthy, especially like QPR way and things. He was very good. So I do think that there is if we had to spend money on him, probably no. But the fact you can get a player young coming into sort of prime ages, who's done it at this level, very experienced, offers us something we haven't got. Someone who can get you goals, get assists, play that sort of box-to-box 10/8 position for free. Go and get him. Look, there's a reason he's been here all season. There's a reason we didn't go and send him back in January and go and just fill that place with someone else. There's a reason he stayed all the way to the end of the season, and that is purely because I think Neil wants him around. So, yeah, get him fit, and I'd absolutely have him around. It's worth the risk when you're not paying a transfer fee for him. And if it doesn't work out, doesn't work out. Well, someone's going to take that risk on him, and I would edge my bets if I was a betting man that it'll probably work out. And I think we should be in the running for that. I really do. Considering the needs we have there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But and we'll talk about the needs. We'll move on to some of the. This is probably the position that was hardest for me, right, when I was writing these down, because it feels like there's a lot of names, but a lot of fringe names in this. So we'll move on to the next one then. Callum, I'll go straight to you, mate. But Dan Kelly, what happens to him next year?
He's gone, mate. He's gone 100%. I think he's. I think he's, again, as you said, fringe play. He hasn't. When he's played, he hasn't really done a lot on that pitch for me to go, yeah, I want to keep him. So for me, if a player doesn't show enough since they've been here for me to go, oh yeah, I'll keep him as a squad player. You could also say that he hasn't had the chance to play either, because of injuries and other things like that. But for me, every time he's come onto the pitch and played in the Millwall shirt, he hasn't really shown me enough for me to believe that he's gonna be a good player going forward. So for me, I'd get rid of him this summer. Yeah.
Charlie, do you agree? Dan Kelly goes, and if so, do you think it's a permanent or do you think it's a loan?
I don't think he'll go. I think he'll try and his best to get fit, and I think Neil. I think actually when he first joined and stuff like that, he just didn't get the chance. He kept getting injured.
Yeah.
He wasn't breaking through. But I actually think the most recent performances that he had, the last two that he had, I actually thought he came on. He was putting himself about. He was getting on the ball. He's actually trying his best to impact the game, and then obviously again he got injured. So I think if you look at these most recent performances, there's no reason to say he can't be a squad player, and if he can get fit, then I'm happy to have him around. But I don't think he'll go. I think he'll just probably either idle in the under-21s again for a season, and then get released when he gets released.
I've got to say, I can see a world where, and Joe, I'll hand over to you after this, mate. But I can see a world where I think we will look to loan him out to a half decent League One club. Again, maybe a Bromley, Leighton Orient, whoever. Try and get him fit and try and get his body sorted because he's clearly made of glass at the minute. And then we'll have a look. We'll have another look next year. But Jay, what's your thoughts, mate?
I was firmly in absolutely get rid of him at the beginning of the season. Get rid of him. Don't look back. Say goodbye. Never talk about it ever again. And then he got fit, and we had that conundrum or that issues of centre midfield where we had nobody. And I was at Bristol City away, and I thought Kelly was absolutely unbelievable. I thought he was outstanding. His press, his awareness, his positional discipline, just his ability, his passing, I thought he looked unbelievable. I thought he was outstanding. And he offers us something a little bit different where he can sit deep, he can play in an 8, he can play a bit more advanced, he sees a pass, he's not afraid to go steaming into somebody. I think if you're going to let Billy go, you're going to keep Dan Kelly. I think that is that type of replacement, personally. I would keep him. I wouldn't send him out on loan. I think he'd be better under Alex Neil, better under some of the players that we've got around him. Again, pre-season would determine that. Can he get himself fit? It is a massive, massive pre-season for him, as it is for one or two others. But if he comes through pre-season fit, healthy, and looks good, I would keep him personally, just because he really did show that, in my opinion, especially that Bristol game. He was the man of the match for me. I think he got clapped off when he went off. I thought he was that good, and that's unusual, and I think he's only like 18. I don't think he's a kid. So I might be wrong, but I think he's still a kid. And you look at your likes of Billy, who got only a couple of years away from being 10 years older than him.
He's 20 now.
20. Okay, so I'm.
He was 20 in October, so he's a young 20.
In October, so a young 20. So yeah, he's still got a lot of time to get into the rhythm of not even close to being his prime yet. I would definitely keep him around. I think if he can get himself fit, but I'm going to say squad, but I'll go with the consensus. If the consensus is send him out on loan, and then we'll stick him in the get rid department.
Yeah, I got to say, I think he'll. We'll go with him with the majority, so we'll keep him in the squad. This one's a really easy one for me. Barry Bannon and family. Do we think we'll be keeping them next year? Because personally, I'll be fucking him off as soon as possible.
Barry Bannon, I think he was brought here to get us over the edge this season, and we wasn't able to get over the edge. I don't think he played as much as he wanted to, and I don't think
he weren't good enough when he did.
No, he wasn't. He had a couple good spells for Oxford. He was really good, but he was playing against Oxford, who were relegated. So he's going to do that. He's been, and I think you've mentioned this quite a few times, Frankie, is that he's been, a big fish in a small pond, and in a bad team, which is where it's easy to shine. And he's come here where he's playing with some equivalent type players. Maybe not same style, but definitely of quality. Where his place in the starting 11 is definitely not given to him. And it wasn't here, and I just don't think he earned the right to play. So I do think he'll go. I think he'll go back to Sheffield Wednesday, and we need to free that up. We need to get rid of that. I do think he was brought here just for this season, just to see if he could get us over the line, and it didn't work out. So yeah, get rid.
Yeah, no, 100%. Get him gone. I am going to say I'm not going to cut this out. I don't fucking care. The whole situation with his family and the nonsense on Twitter just annoyed me, to be honest with you. If he was quality all season, you'd take on the chin. He weren't, and you think to yourself, actually, you know what? The nonsense that he's brought hasn't been worth the
don't need the drama, do we?
Yeah, the output. So get him gone. Enjoy going back to Sheffield Wednesday. Have a fantastic time in League One. Right, next player then. Derek Mazusako.
Starting.
Yeah.
Starting.
Nah, I completely agree. I've got nothing to build on it. I think he is the one you build the squad around. Jay, I'm guessing you're in the same camp, mate.
Yeah, he's like Taylor. He's one of those that he's in my core that you build the team around. He's 21 years old. He's 6'1", big, physical. He's a different profile to the other midfielders we've got. And I
Jay's
think
clearly building the bloke's Tinder, isn't he?
and I think he's a six. But you can see why he was so good in that sixth position. And we've had other people play that deep lying role, but you know, your Caspers, your Billies, they're quite physical where they're tenacious. He's just big, you know, and he doesn't look that he is that much bigger, but you can see his physicality when he gets around players. He can go shoulder to shoulder with these players. He hasn't got to necessarily try and nick the ball from them. He can just outmuscle them. Like I say, he's big, physical. He's got a good brain on him. He's disciplined. As a six, if he's going to play, he's got to play as that one that sits. I liken him to that old school Arsenal teams, right, where they had, if they played a two-man midfield, they had Vieira and Petit. One of them went, the other one sat, and they just telepathically did this. I think Mazzucco could be that to someone else. He has got essences of like a young sort of Vieira type where he can travel with the ball. He can be a strong runner. He can find himself on the edge of the box. Don't necessarily think he's going to be good when he's there, but he's there to disrupt things from happening, that ball coming back out. I think you build the team around him as a number six, and I think he's at a point now where if you don't now run with him, you never will, because he's proven it. He's proven it now in big moments, or big games, playoff games, where Sturge and Derek Mazzucco being the highlights, being the best players in a playoff game for this club is unacceptable. They should have been probably the two that walked away where you went, do you know what? They really tried. Others were better, more experienced, more players that have had a lot more games at this level. Sturge hasn't. Sturge came in on loan. This is his first proper year at this level, starting a lot of games. And Mazzucco is exactly the same. He'd been injured all year and hadn't played at this level. They had the excuses, in my opinion, if they was to have a bad game in the playoffs. No one else did. And for the fact that them two come through, it shows that Mazzucco can deal with these big moments. So play him. Let him run with it and build the team around him in that number six position. Whether that's a six with 2 8s or whether that's a six in a two pairing, he's got to be the one that you roll out there every single week, in my opinion.
No, I completely agree. I love Derek. I think he's been phenomenal since he come in. I mean, don't quote me the exact numbers here because I looked at this a long time ago, but if you look at someone like, compare him to someone like Dan Kelly, I want to say he's about 6 months older, but he's played something like 100 more games at a first team level. All right, all in like the French second tier. I couldn't tell you what standards like, but that experience, that know-how on the pitch, I think definitely shows through. I think we saw that. The final centre midfielder to discuss then, Casper Denor. I'll give you my thoughts first, and I'll hand over to you boys. I think he's a bench option, which I know sounds mental because he's class and has been since he's been here. I think he's one of them where he'll start the season. I think he'll be a starter, and as the year plays out, I think the likes of Mazzucco, whoever comes into that midfield room with him, slowly start to phase him out. And by the end of the year, I think you'll see Denor, maybe his age, maybe it's the improvement of players around him. I think he'll struggle to get minutes by the end of the season. That's probably why he's only got a 12-month extension. For me, I'm keeping him, but I'm putting Denor down as a bench option. But what do you boys think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we had it out in the group chat, didn't we, Frank? We're discussing the types of players we could improve him around, and I think he's one of these players that's going to give you a 7 out of 10 every week. He doesn't put a foot wrong. You know, he does his bit. He wins the ball back a lot. He will get the ball ticking, but in terms of driving forward, in terms of getting goals and assists, in terms of probably just like the same with we said about Del Boy, in terms of just dominating that midfield, he just doesn't do it. But again, he will give you a 7 out of 10 every week. He will give you a solid, consistent season. But I think you know what you're going to get with Caspar, and I think that's, like you said, that's why he's going to start, and then hopefully we can upgrade that position and phase him out in the nicest way.
I agree. I like Caspar. I like him a lot. I think he's been very consistent for us. I think he's been a very good player for us. I just think, like, with his age, his profile now, and the emergence of Derek, I do think we need different profiles. I agree with you. I think he starts, and then I think eventually he gets phased out. But I like him. Look, it will keep him around. He's good for his experience. He's a good character. He's a good person to have in that dressing room as well. He's quite versatile. We can fill in defensively at right back if we need him to. He can pick a pass. So I do like Caspar. And I do think that the two starters in that central midfield will be Casper and Derek to start the season. I do, because we can't foresee the future, what we do in the transfer window. As it stands now, I think they're the two. But I do think this is probably very much like a Jake Cooper, where Casper's going to start to phase out ever so slightly, or he's there for the versatility where we can change it up. You know, he probably find he plays a lot of games next year, but they're not all from the starting position, or they're not all 80 minutes, 85 minutes. Probably get a few 40s, probably get a few 60s here and there, and I think it'll be about 35 games sort of thing where we've changed it up quite a lot to keep it fresh, which was a bit of a downfall and a bit of a black mark against us this year we wasn't able to do. So, yeah, I do agree. I think I'd rather put him in the squad section as opposed to starter, because I do think that's a position while we're talking about upgrades that we need to upgrade to get someone alongside Derek. So, yeah, I will put him firmly in squad.
I mean, he did play the vast majority of his career in Belgium as a fullback. He played both right back and left back. And I actually can see a world where if he's not a starter, centre mid next year, we've got both left back and right back as positions of need. Could he? I think you've all said it in a way, but just that versatility of you could plug him at centre mid, he'll do a job. You could plug him in left back, he'll do a job. He could be the next Ryan Leonard in many ways. He has maybe 2-3 more years. He hasn't really got a position. He just comes and does a job for it, runs about and looks good. So centre midfield is a massive need then, because if he's a squad option, we're saying that the only people that we are saying will definitely be in next year, or we think will be in next year, Derek, Dan Kelly, in what capacity we have no idea, and then Casper Denor. So we need a centre midfielder. Do we need more than one?
I think we need multiple. I think we need two. I think we have versatility with some other players that can play there. I desperately think we need two. And they need to be of a different profile. You need one that's a similar profile to Derek Mazusako, and you need one that can act in a supporting role, as that can fill in probably as a 10 sort of thing. You've also got Luke Cundle. There's someone that we haven't spoken about yet.
Got him in a different list.
But if you've got him in a different, I thought you might have. But so I do think we need to. Because I think you need 5 in a squad. I think you need 5 central midfielders. The way that we play as well, in terms of having 3 midfielders in a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, I think we do need 5. So I'm going to say 2. We need 2 more centre mids. One needs to be a box-to-box. Has to be a box-to-box, big, physical midfielder. The Derek profile, but the attacking version, in my opinion. So I do think we need 2, yeah.
Yeah, I think the other one, that's one profile. I think the other profile's got to be someone that can find the pass and put the ball in the back of the net from them deeper areas.
Yeah.
Callum, Charlie, 1, 2, 3. How many centre mids do you want?
Yeah, I think we definitely need at least 2 options. One a starter, obviously, and then one to kind of shift between the two. And then I do like the look of Lamptey from the academy as well. When I have seen him in the midfield,
yeah.
I do. I know he's highly rated as well by the club. And when I have watched him, he does look good.
Yeah.
And he's a big presence. He's not small. He is quite of the same kind of build as Sako in terms of.
He's physical.
Yeah.
He loves
So
a
again,
tackle.
there might be a world where few cup games during the season he might be that Sako kind of rotation. But yeah, I definitely think we need at least 2. If we could get another Negley, that'd be amazing. But never thought I'd hear myself saying that. But yeah, if we can get 2 really good midfielders in this year, I think even someone like the kind of similar ilk to that Crooks from Hull, that just big presence go forward, but someone with a bit of a technical ability.
Someone like Zian Fleming.
Yeah, I'd love it. Let's just get him back.
So are we leaving that position open then? Are we saying
Yeah,
that
I think
it's got to leave it open.
Yeah.
So far we've got up to the midfield point that we're at. We're after 1 centre back, 1 right back, 1 left back, and 2 centre mids. So the shopping list for Gallen is growing.
And a goalkeeper.
And a goalkeeper, sorry, yeah. So the shopping list is growing.
So we'll move on then. We'll move into attacking positions, as we've already covered off. We've already mentioned Cundle and Negley. So we'll get straight into that 10 role. Again, I've got to say, I think it's a fairly straightforward one. I think that 10 is just Negley, isn't it?
Negley.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play him in a 10 next season, but
Here he goes again. He wants to change formation. It's not happening, Jay. I'm not doing
no,
it.
no, it's not changing. Negley's a very easy one, and when we come on to other positions, I'll explain. But yeah, Negley's can no. Again, it's a core player for me. It's one of the ones that you build around. I think he's outstanding. I honestly think that he's probably going to be our best player next season. I think he's going to be our most key player next season. I think he was our best player from January. I don't think anybody was better than Negley. So, yeah, big player for us. I won't be playing him in a 10 if it's up to me, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, easy decision.
Yep, 100%. Next two, not quite as easy. Joe, actually, I think this is unfair. I think Luke Cundall, I think the bloke definitely stays. He gets a lot of stick. He's not everyone's cup of tea. He does divide opinions. I don't think we sell him, is the reality. I think there's so much outgoing already that we've already discussed. I just can't see us sitting there going, well, let's move on to Cundall as well. So I think Cundall stays in the exact capacity he's doing now.
Yeah, he'll stay as what he is now.
He's versatile. He's versatile. You play left, right, centre mid, cam. First, you need versatility.
I think the problem with him is though it's a case of he can't seem to solidify a position because he has moments, but in terms of overall, I think he's just average in every position. But he has moments. I think that's why you keep him around.
I think he's got a place here as a squad player. Some days I don't think he'll make the match day squad. But I do think I don't think he's going to have much of a market, and I don't think he's going to be a player that you loan out. I think you keep him here as you need him. So yeah, I do think he'll stick around in the squad department.
All in agreement then? Stays as a bench player?
Yep.
Cool. Right. This is a bit of a tricky one, or maybe not. Let's find out. Reece Williams.
Get rid of him. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think Neil rates him. I don't think he's been able to solidify the 10 or the wing position. I think he wants to play a 10. I think Neil wants to play him wide. I don't think he's got the pace. I just think he looks lazy, in my opinion. He hasn't been able to get himself in the team when he has been fit. I think keeping him around will stop us from improving in that area. Right? If we're going to keep the Cundalls of the world, the Kellys of the world, and if we want to bring in someone like Smallbone on a free, I think you've got to let someone like RBW go. I just think it's someone that did look kind of good, kind of promising, and for whatever reason has just completely gone off the wall. And I trust Alex Neil. If you're not getting in Neil's side or even in the squad at certain times, you're obviously not doing what you're meant to be doing. You're obviously not working hard enough. We saw it with Ballo. We saw it with Negley. We've seen it with other players where Neil's tasked them to, if you do this, you'll get in my squad, like Ballo did. If you toughen up a little bit, you'll get back in my squad. RBW hasn't been able to do that. I know he's had injuries as well. I don't rate him. This is a personal opinion. Don't rate him. I don't think he should be here next year. I don't even think you'll get that much for him, to be honest with you. I don't even think he's that much of an asset.
He hasn't got a body of work to come on the transfer.
That's right. So I think a loan would be good for him. I do think a solid loan away, because you can't just throw him away because of a bad year. So maybe give him a loan and then assess it and go, look, how did that loan go? If it's very much the same, then you've got all the evidence you need. Because he isn't a kid. He's not a kid, and we've got players that are younger than him that are taking the ball by the horns, and he's not. He should be at a level now where he should be starting consistently, or at least knocking on that door, and he just isn't. So, in my opinion, I'd probably put him in the out department with a view to a loan, and then see how he does there. Maybe give him a significant loan as well. Right? It needs to be a significant loan, but yeah, I'm just not. I don't rate him at all. I don't fancy him.
Charlie, Callum, you're both in the same boat. You moving him on?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say, personally, he's kept the record against Charlton alive, so we'll keep him around.
Yeah, he's only 21. He's only 21.
He was good that game as well. It was good that game.
No, he was. Yeah, we'll keep him around for that one moment. Yeah,
he is only 21. He's not, he is still a kid. He's a little bit older than what I would want at this age for them to be kicking on, because he's got Derek, who's of a similar age. He's got Kelly, similar age. He's got these players around him. He's got to compete with who are of a similar age to him, and he's not doing it for me.
Yeah, I think a good loan for him, get some interest in him, and then ship him off. But there's definitely a player in him in terms of we've seen the little promises, moments.
I don't think there is. I don't think there is. I mean, we die on that hill.
I think there's
we
no.
saw-
I'm with
we saw
Charlie.
it-
With Charlie,
we
there's a
saw-
player there.
We saw it last year when his link up with Ivanovic and everything else last year was really good. That's why he got into the team in the first place. And as you said, he's had obviously off field with Neil with injuries and everything else. Then that's what it is. What it is the letdown. But there's definitely a player in him. So send him on loan, let him go do well in League One, and then sell him on.
I'm gonna get rid. I'm with Charlie. I do think there's a player there. I think he's clearly got the ability, but there's clearly more to it than just his ability. He's not the first player to have had issues.
He reminds me a lot of Tyler Bury.
Yeah, great shout.
Yeah.
The game that stands out for me for Ben-Gura Williams, when I think I kind of made my mind up, was actually the whole game at home. We had a midfield three that day of Alfie Doughty, Camille Negley, Reece Ben-Gura Williams. The only one in that midfield three that was a midfielder was Ben-Gura Williams. He was the worst one of the three and he got hooked.
Yeah.
That is diabolical. We were struggling at that time. We needed people to stand up. We needed him to stand up. He was terrible. So, yeah, got to go. I'm not being funny. We got into a stage where we was playing Tiano Ballo centre mid instead of Reece Ben-Gura Williams, and I think that tells you the world about where he is. So I think I will move him on.
So are we saying then that that's our cam position? We're
Sorted.
talking about a 10. We're
Sorted.
saying we've only got really one. We've only got really Negley and Kundal in that 10. You're saying that? So
I think that's enough. I think that's enough. No,
think
I
that's
because I don't actually. No, but I actually think we do in a case of because I don't think we're going to run a 10. I think it will be a 6 with 2 centre mids.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, fair. Yeah, okay.
So I don't think you have again. You bring in Smallbone, you add him into that 10 role, but I think Negley, Kundal in that kind of box to box, kind of more the like we have seen with the last few games of the season with Negley in that role. I think Negley's been even better in that role in that middle than he was out left or out
Negley's
right.
a centre mid.
So, yeah.
I think if you buy a 10, you then get into a world where, regardless of what formation you decide to play with, back 4, back 5, whatever, you absolutely have to play a 10.
Yeah,
because you
I
then
think
be
we need to
sitting there
get someone
going,
who's got the ability to play 10.
But
Yeah,
you,
I think
if he
rather
buys a
than a
dedicated one, you'll then have Negley, Kundal, and whoever this new
Yeah,
guy
you
is.
can't
You
buy a
sit there going, they're all
dedicated one.
10s.
No, I agree.
ain't gonna work.
I think look, you look at the wings position right now. We have no left wingers. We have no starting right winger. I think if you go out and get someone like I think Middlesbrough bought is it like Castledine? Like he was he was predominantly the kind of a winger / he's like that Palmer where he can play wide, but he is more suited to a 10. But if you need him out wide, he will do a job. And I think if we go out and get a winger like that who's very technical, then that can play both, then yeah, fine. Because then if you want to throw it into a 10 during the match, he can move inside. But I think we got to start looking at getting pace and direct wingers like we had with Femi. So
Let's move on to right midfield then, because this could be a really quick one. On the books, I'll rattle them all off. We've got Femi Aziz, Benicio Baker, Zach Lovelace. I think Lovelace and Benicio Baker are just not cut out for this level. I don't think either of them will be in the first team next year, whether they're on loan, whatever, don't care. They won't be here. And Femi Aziz will get sold, so I don't think we have a single right midfielder in the squad next season.
I agree as well. And this is where I actually would be playing Camille Negley. I'd be putting Negley at right wing. I think that is
He
his
was
position.
terrible there, mate. He was terrible there.
I don't know. That's where I'm
disagree,
sticking him. I just think he's the way he can track on that right hand side, the way he can cut in with that left. I think you've got to look at that. I think you've got to look at it.
No, I think we've tested him there. He's found his position in the team. And
I love him if he plays for me, he plays centre midfield or he plays out on the wing. He doesn't play in the 10.
No, of course not. He's not a 10, but I'm saying in that middle, that centre mid role, I think he's found his position. And if we need him out,
maybe
on the wing,
it's him and Sacco. Are you two centre midfielders?
But I agree. But when we've seen the season when Femi has come off or Ballo's come off, and we've put Negley out wider, I feel like we lose him half of the time in the game for that.
He's been better as a 10 than as a right winger.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
so much
he
better.
probably has. I would
And-
love to see him trial it there properly, though, full on.
He did, mate. He did.
did.
For the first half of the season, he was absolutely shite, and Charlie was battering him
Yeah.
in there every week.
Yeah, but then he was.
Charlie was having scraps in the stands.
But
Yeah,
then
you
he
put him on right,
he's
and
found his feet since then, right? I mean, he was. I think he's had to adapt his game, and I think that will help him in that position. I think I would love to see it. I do. I'm not advocating that Negley's got to be the starter. I think that he's someone that we would not have to completely go out and buy 10 wingers, because Negley can play both, in my opinion, and you should use the versatility. But I do think that we don't also have the starter for next season on the books, because Femi is going to go.
No,
And if we want to revolutionise this squad, I think you have to. I think Millwall have got to want to sell him, because we've got. You look at the changes now. You can spend.
This is easy, not Negley.
This is easy.
Yeah,
I think the club have got to want to sell him as well now. You've got to want to get rid of him, because we need to recoup that money. The money he could generate for us. You can go and buy this goalkeeper. You can go and buy this box-to-box midfielder. You can go and buy these 2 wingers. We're going to need, multiple wingers. You could do all of that with the Femi money without even breaking into the funds that we would have already had available. So I don't think we've got the wing on the books. And I'll just cut straight to the chase. I think we need 2. I think we need 2 right wingers. I think we need a proper starter, and I think we need someone who's versatile, who can come on and take and probably play both wings. So I'm going to say we need 1 starter and 1 versatile backup.
Yeah, I think you're saying. I think it's the same for left wing as well. I think we need a starting left wing, and we need a backup left wing as well.
So I think we need 4. I'm going to say 4 wingers.
We'll get on to left mid, because I think actually that's a really interesting conversation. Just on Jay's point, first round Negley, sorry. I think the reason you can't put him out wide is I think he's so much better when he just drifts. The reason he struggled out wide so much is because it was never out there.
No.
It was everywhere but right midfield, and it just left.
I think when you give him that
so
as well,
hard.
Frankie, you give him a set position, whereas Negley, you just want to say to him, the middle of the park is yours. Yeah, the middle of the park is yours, and do what you want to do with it. And he does. And I think he's good for having the freedom.
Yeah,
no,
100%.
I honestly believe we need to have it as kind of similar to with when France had Kante, Matuidi, and Pogba, and they let Pogba in France, when he had the option to just go and do what you want, was the best midfielder in the world. But when he was told to sit and defend, he was terrible.
It's very, very Bruno Fernandes at Man United. Right?
Yeah,
Bruno
which is how I would have
shit.
it.
Going forward,
that's
he's probably the best midfielder in the league.
But that's how I'd have it. I'd have Sacco as the sitter in that kind of Kante and Matuidi role. You get a box-to-box who will crash through and break through both defences and attack, and you just let Negley go forward and press, and wherever he ends up in that middle on the ball,
jack of all,
that's his best. That we see.
His best position's an 8, right?
Yeah.
He's an 8,
Attacking one, yeah.
And I do think I think we can all agree we need 4 wingers, right? We need 4 wingers.
Let's get on that. So right wingers, I think we definitely need 2. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
What I want to see us do with wingers this year, and this is where I want to talk about lefts as well. I'm a little bit frustrated with this whole, we have 4 wingers in the squad this year. Every single one of them is inverted winger, wants to cut inside to their stronger foot and then have a pop. I don't think it really works. I think you need some more variety. I actually think we might have that on the left wing if you buy someone that can cut inside on their right foot, i.e. Reyes clearing. And the backup to him is Alfie Doughty,
who
is
I was going to say that,
left-footed. Get chalk on your boots, boy. Swing the ball into the box. Do you know what I mean? And I think that could be the option for left wing. We need the same with the right wings. We definitely need 2 right wingers.
I'd say 3 wingers in total.
So yeah, I mean, left, the ones in the currently in the squad again, we could probably just rattle these straight off. Tiano Ballo, gone. Tommy Watson, gone. Adam Mayer, not good enough.
Put rid
they're
in
all
the
going to go. So we need 2 right wingers, 1 left winger, or 2 left wingers. What do we think, boys?
I think we need 2 right, 1 left. An out-and-out starter left, and then you've got Doughty. Negley's actually looked better on the left. Look, did it Ipswich. He went out on left, lovely ball in. I think he's probably better when he does go out left. You got Cundall's played on that left-hand side as well, if we're going to keep Cundall in the team. So I do think that we've got more options to play on that left-hand side. Well, I think we need 3. I don't think you can't go out and buy like 5 wingers, and also we
No.
need 3 centre midfield. So I think you get 3 for now, and you make sure you get 2 starters and you get 1 backup. That's what we need. 1 backup that can play both. One he can play left and he can play right. And then, like you say, you've got Doughty, you've got Negley, you've got kind of if we're down to that bare bones, we've just been really unlucky if we get into that position. So I think we need 3. I do think we need 3.
And we have got Sheldon Kendall and Jack Howland as well. Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah, Howland is someone that Howland is definitely someone I'd get rid to put on a loan, but a proper significant loan, not a National League team. Let's see what he can do, and he'd be one I'd be looking at in January.
Yeah, no,
Same
I agree.
with
Yeah, but I do see a world where I said we get 2 right wingers in, get 1 left because we do have to cover on the left. But I do think cup games and in games like that, I feel we can see Sheldon Kendall come through this year. I do really rate him in terms of he's quick, he's strong, he's direct, and pretty much that's what you want. And we've seen it with teams like Leicester. Look at that Monga. If you're good enough, you'll play. And I think in the Championship, pace and directness is such a threat.
Worked out for Leicester, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they'll probably sell him on for 10 million now. So.
Well, that is true.
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah, John, the thing is, Charlie, I completely agree.
Also, looking at the profile of wingers you want, you look at the strikers we have, right, with Coburn and Ivanovic at the moment, and even Langstaff. We don't get in positions enough where we just pull it back and they can tap it in. It's always they have to score off their own back or for a set piece, or they have to do something for their, they have to make an unbelievable run like we did with Coburn away at Hull. I think if you get kind of similar with Coventry, where they had Ephraim Mason-Clark, they had Asante, they had really direct, pacey wingers that get to the byline and drag it back, and again score goals themselves. And I think that's where you got to go for. You got to go for Cleary. I think he's number 1 on the book to come in. That's my first choice to get in for the replacement for Femi. And I think you go get another direct, really attacking, drag it out to your fullback winger. And I said you've got Alfie Doughty that can come in there, do the winger type way, just crosses it in. But you do want to have a player that will drag defences, and like Balumi did to us in the playoff. Just go out wide, attack the left back, cut in, go. Hopefully, maybe go for who's that geezer at Bolton that he's on loan for Brighton.
Koza Dubry.
Yeah, again, maybe say if you're not going to play him, let's let him go up a division. Obviously, Bolton may come up.
Maybe someone like Xavier Simons of Bolton, rise in the box.
Mikey Moore's Mikey Moore's a great. We're very closely going into a different show, which is we've got coming up, which is our Chancellor Wishes.
Yeah.
But,
no, we need we need 3 wingers. I don't think we've got any wingers on the books that will start at the start of the season. It's a priority. It's the biggest priority to me is the wing position. So I think that in my opinion, the first couple of signings at least need to be, you've got to go and get a goalkeeper and you've got to go and get a winger, at least one of the piece to kick the window off. And we've got to do our business fucking early this time. We can't hang about. Like, we've got some holes here. We need to get going.
I think Charlie and Callum, I think you summed it up nicely. I think we need different profiles, as Jay's touched on as well. I think, as Callum said, we can't have a world where we've got 1 player, I love Femi Aziz, that's getting 20 goal contributions. It needs to be more spread out than it, because I think our team's so disjointed. You know how to stop us. It's so easy to do. Just stop that right wing.
4% of our goals came from the centre midfield area. It's got to change. Yeah,
it has to. But we'll move on to our final position then, because this one, I think there will be some disagreement in here. We'll start with the ones that I think are quite clear and easy. AJ Matthews, I think, needs to get another loan, and I think Macaulay Langstaff needs to go somewhere else. I don't care where.
Matthews, I agree with the loan. Get him out on loan. Definitely. Langstaff's got to go. Langstaff, in my opinion, has to go. He has scored some goals coming off the bench. I get it. All right? I get it. And well done to him. It's his job. He's not going to get praised for scoring a couple goals, in my opinion. It's his job. All right? His overall contribution as a striker isn't good enough. Now, that being said, he has played out of position, or he's been played a little bit deeper. However, all he is good for is running around. He's George Honeyman / Tom Bradshaw / Macaulay Langstaff. He's them 3 players rolled into one, and it isn't good enough for what we want to achieve. It hasn't worked out. It was a risk worth taking. We was all buzzing when we signed him, but he has got to go. If he is one of the striker options next season, it's going to be a long season, because he cannot he cannot come in and take the reins, in my opinion. If the shit hits the fan and we're relying on Macaulay Langstaff, we've got a problem. If we have to play him in a 10 or a 9.5 because we didn't invest in that proper player who can get the ball down, make the cutting passes, get his shots away, we've got a problem. If we have to play him out wide because we didn't invest in the winger position, we've got a problem. He doesn't score enough goals. He doesn't create enough goals. His passing's abysmal.
He's not a very good footballer.
He's not
He's
a
just
good
not
football player. He's not, and I appreciate he was very good in the National League. I get that. He was very good at League 2 level. Very, very good. He's not a championship football player. We was a championship football player. We was a championship club, bottom half championship club, mid-table championship club, right? When we signed him.
Mhm.
Great. That's
No, we're
probably
not. Yeah.
the right type of player you want. We're not now. We're not. We've outgrown the signings of Macaulay Langstaff. They're not good enough players for us anymore. And I just don't think he's good enough. I know some people do like him a lot. I don't. I can't stand him. I don't want him to be here anymore. Good luck to him. Yeah, he tries. What I will say is, and this is such good credit to him, is he does exactly what he's told and he gives it 150%. That's what I will say. And there is something to be said for that, because he does do that. And he doesn't complain. He cracks on and he gives it his all. He just isn't very good. And that's sad and that's a shame, because I thought he could be very, very good for us. We was told he could break goal scoring records at this club. Gazer's got a worse goal scoring record than Tom Bradshaw. Yeah, let's have it right.
I believe he's got a worse goal scoring record than Kenneth Sahor.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, there you go. And that's appalling. That is appalling. And I don't want to hear, oh, but he's versatile. We can drop into like the 10. Buy a fucking 10 then. Go and buy a 10. Well, I'm not playing a striker to sit there.
You can't.
I know you can't. This is what I'm getting at.
The most untechnical footballer in this squad.
It's terrible.
Should we put him in? Should we put the worst player in the squad in the position that needs the most technical ability?
Exactly. This is the whole. They go, oh, but he can play here, he can play there. He can't play there. You can plug him there. He can't play there. He doesn't win. He every time I've watched him play in that position, he hurries players to force them to make a decision. When he wins the ball over, he loses it straight away. He can't maintain possession. He can't pick a pass. He's not a good football player. And I'm sorry for those that watching that do have a soft spot for him. If we want to do anything next season, if we want to progress and we want to be better in that department of the field, he should not be a Millwall player next season. He shouldn't be a championship player next season. I'd argue he's probably not even a very good League One player. I'd argue he's probably who's coming up from League Two. Maybe is it Salford? Are they League Two? Someone like that? Bromley. Send him to Bromley. I imagine he'd do very, very well at Bromley. A team that's just come up, looking for a bargain. You've probably got some money in him. You'd probably be able to recoup something. I don't think it'd be a lot. But yeah, maybe. I don't rate the bloke at all. And I think, towards the end of the season, Neil didn't rate him either, because you didn't see him. You didn't see him after that. He got that goal against Leicester. Never saw him, before that really, or after that. He's just not very good. The couple of games where he was asked to play in that 9.5, he was hooked at half time because he was completely non-existent. The game was bypassing him. It's very easy to bypass a player whose only talent is running around. We saw it with George Honeyman. We saw it with Tom Bradshaw. He's not a good player and should not be a Millwall player next season. And he's one of the first I'd let go.
Charlie, Callum, you got mine and Jay's views on it, mate. We don't particularly rate him. I'm guessing you want him gone as well.
Lovely bloke.
I don't care if he's a lovely bloke. I could not care less.
I think he's right. Yeah. I don't care. I want to win. I want to win things. I want to be progressive. I want to be. You look at Sunderland. Look at the team that got Sunderland promoted. 99% of them gone. So I don't care. Yeah, if you're not good enough, or we're not looking at the bigger picture. There's no sentimentality, right? You running around is not a prerequisite. It is not a condition for you to be able to have an argument at a seat at the table. You ain't good enough.
Charlie, take some, mate, with these two.
Yeah, I think he's a starter for me, Langstaff. No, I'm joking. No. No, I think it all comes down to, one, if we're going to bring in a different type of striker. I think you've seen with Derby this season, they've had an exceptional kind of alignment of striker. They've had Bryan Diaz, they've got Brewster, they've got Angerman, they've got bloody everyone else, Schmidt, Morris. They've got every type of striker you could probably want in a rotation. I think if we go out, I think Ivanovic is very different to Coburn. Coburn's very different to Langstaff. I think if we do bring in another striker, which I think we do need, we need a pacey, get in behind, drag players
You
around.
need a Langstaff. You just need better Langstaff.
But I think if we don't go out and get that type of striker, and I think we're all kind of already at bare bones with the squad, and I think I can see a world where Langstaff will still be around for the simple of if we're away from home, we're 2-1 up, put him on, he'll press the ball, he'll do his job, which is what he needs. And to be fair, that's what he's pretty much done this
if
season.
we have to bring him on to press the ball, I'm sorry, we're finished. We're cooked.
I actually disagree. I agree with you. I'm just saying, in a world where we don't bring in a striker of an ilk of that will do that job for us, we don't have a striker in the team that's going to press like that from the front.
But does it need to be a striker? Who does that?
I'm sorry, boys. If we want someone to come in and just hurry people and work hard, I'd rather bring on a fucking border collie. That geezer is not touching the football pitch because he's not good enough.
Yeah, I agree.
It's absolutely cack.
I'm only playing devil's advocate here. I'm just saying.
I don't want you to play devil's advocate. Say it with your chest. The geezer's not good enough. He shouldn't be here.
No, he's not good enough as it is. But I'm just saying that I can't see.
We understand. We understand the qualities he has. We understand the qualities that Neil saw he has. Because if he had any other qualities other than running around, he'd be playing up front. If he was a quality striker, Neil would have played him up front. And he wasn't. If he was good out on the wing, Neil would have played him out on the wing. He didn't. He played him in this hybrid 9.5 because he thought, I need someone to do something because the squad's bare bones. This guy can run about a bit and he looks quite energetic while he's doing it. So just get him on. There was no other position that Langstaff was good for. And unfortunately, running about a bit ain't going to get us over the line next season. It didn't get us over the line this season. And next season's all about improving and making the squad better, getting different profiles so we can adapt. Langstaff's not going to do that. He's very limited, in my opinion. Get him gone.
No, I agree with you.
Should I plug in the last of our guaranteed starters next year, which is Josh Coburn?
It is, yeah. It is. It is Josh Coburn. And I think I'll kick it off with the Serb because I'm of the opinion where I'm not going to force him out the door. I'm not going to force the Serb out the door. We do need another striker. I think personally we need two because I think we're going to let Langstaff go. And even with Langstaff, Serb and Coburn, we were still looking at a striker. So I do think we need 4 strikers. But I'm not going to force the Serb out the door. However, I will listen. And if there's an offer of double digits, I think you bite their hand off. Personally, I will not be unhappy to see the Serb go, but I won't be drastically unhappy if he stays. I just don't think he obviously Coburn is the starter. The Serb still scored 9 goals this season. He was still very good when Coburn was out. He was admirable. He was plugging. He was getting you'd Bristol away. He's getting goals. He was good. He worked really, really hard when he was by himself, when we had no strikers. And he's still very young and he's still adapting. This is his proper first full season. Remember, he came in late because, into Neil's tenure, kicked off where no one had any tape on him and he set the world alight and you're thinking this is going to be great now, going to kick on. Teams had tape on him. They can plan for him. They know his game. He's now got to have the opportunity to adapt to that, in my opinion, which I think he can. I think he's got all the tools to be a top striker. I think he needs to work a bit on maybe his output and his energy levels and his determination in certain aspects of his game, because I do think he's still the best finisher at the club. I do think he's probably the better all-round type striker we could have. Not that he is, because Coburn is that. But I just think Coburn's now our battering ram and Ivanovic is someone that can feed off of him. So I do think that there's a place for him here. I'm not going to force him out the door like I will with the likes of like Langstaff and some other players. But I definitely won't stand in his way if the club want to let him go. I think he's someone who's going to want to leave. I'll be honest with you. I think he'll be knocking on Gallon's door going, right, let me go. I think he will have that conversation. And that will make me want to push him out the door even more. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. I do think there was an element of that from January. Definitely. You saw that drop off from January. I do believe that. I just believe that there's also a player in there, a proper player in there, because we've seen it. He was unplayable at times last year, absolutely unplayable. So I do think it's there, and I do think that he's still young enough that he's got to be, in my opinion, if he's still here, you've got to give him the opportunity to try and do it. and it's down to Neil to find the best type of style for him, because you can't take Josh Coburn off, bring Ivanovic on, and play the same style of football. You can't do it. But we was doing that.
Yeah, no, I think this is what we're going back to with the wingers though as well. Femi almost took all the limelight and always wanted to be the star man and whip it in and whatever else. And obviously Coburn does what he does. I think Ivanovic, if you put him in a team like Coventry, if you put him in a team that's going to feed him, and he will easily get you 15, 20 goals. And if you get wingers in this season, that's going to drive you to the byline, drag it back. Ivanovic is perfect for that because that's what
we've seen. Sorry, Charles. We've seen that when our wingers get the ball down, run, hit the byline, bang it into the box. Yeah, first time Ivanovic scores them goals. Them goals where he's getting in front of his man. It's a little flick. We've seen it. Little flick, little switch of the toe outside the boot, far corner. We've seen majority of the time where our wingers, they cut back, and then the run stops, and then they're floating it into the box, expecting you to then win an aerial battle or to win a physical battle to try and get your head away or recycle the ball. And that suits a Coburn, where he can be a bit physical, a bit more dominant. Don't suit Ivanovic. And he just wants the ball played in behind the lines.
I think going forward for the season coming up, so it's like I said with Derby, it's good to have those options, and every team will love to play against Coburn and work him out. And if you have 2-3 different options that you can play, it's great. But if you do play to Ivanovic's strength, I do think he's the best striker at the club that we have. And I think going forward, if you can get in a really pacey in-behind striker,
it's a bit wild.
I think you've got a striker or a rotation of 3 that is probably the best balance. You've got Coburn, who is the battering ram that's going to get you goals and high end threat from corners and set pieces and whatnot. You have Ivanovic, who's probably the clinical one. And if you can get in someone like an Onyman and someone like that is going to run in behind the spread defences, and it's going to be even better for someone that is, like we're talking about with the midfield, that's going to be that late arrival and dragging all the defenders out into space. And I said that I don't think, if you look at the types of finishes that Ivanovic comes up with, they're very instinctive. They're like, look at Luton away. I don't think Coburn flips it over a man and volleys it in from outside the box. But, you know, Coburn's much better suited to an all-rounder type of finish. But I think Coburn's our best striker.
Coburn's your fucking get off me and then slots it bottom corner. That's Coburn, yeah.
But I think Ivanovic is our best striker.
I agree.
I'm just not sure he's that player anymore, Charlie. Like, I hear you that he was at one point, but I haven't seen that all year. Personally, and don't get me wrong, I'm not the oracle of football. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're all entitled to opinion, but I'm just not seeing it.
I mean, he's 21 years old. He's 21 as well. You know, he's a kid.
I'll happily be wrong.
I mean, I think you've got to look at it from a point of view as well, where he came in last year. No one had a single clue who he was signing. He's come in as a kid, this big Serb. He's come in, he's smashed in goals for fun. He's probably thinking going into the season, I'm going to be number 1. Then we go get Coburn again. And Coburn's...
How many goals did he get last year?
11. I think. Might be 11. Around that, yeah.
Right, so he's averaging 10 goals a season.
Yeah.
Which isn't terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible for someone who's not actually been the starter. You know, he's played half the games from the bench, right?
But so average 10 goals a season. It's his all-round impact, though, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying about his determination in his other game.
The game of football goes on around him, and he's just in there in the middle, half jumping up for headers. Like,
again,
that has to change.
I agree with you in that aspect. Sometimes mentality-wise, he needs to put out more. And I've said it actually so many times on the pod where I've said he almost looks better coming off the bench, where he seems to be more hungry to go and press and prove a point to be.
I think formationally we don't suit him. I think he's a confidence player. I think all players are confidence players, but I think he's one that it has to be going for him. If it ain't, it's bad. You know, I think he's that type of player. Like I say, I'm not going to force the guy out the door because I'd be gutted if he went and lit it up somewhere else because I think he can. I think we need to do better by him. We need to put him in better positions. We can't send him up front on his own in the 4-2-3-1. You can't make him start those games or send the ball long, get Jake Cooper swinging 50-yard diagonals to him. It doesn't work for him. So he can be shit.
But what does he need then? And what do we need to? And I think the thing, I'm not disagreeing with you, AJ. I think you probably are right. But I think to change our 11 to suit Ivanovic requires a massive squad overhaul and change of tactical approach. And it's not going to happen.
I think we need. I'm more speaking from the standpoint that Neil, you need to let Neil get hold of him in the pre-season. And because Neil would have done a lot of that this season, right? It's his first full season here, Neil. He would have done a lot of that. And they'd be having these conversations about Ivanovic, who's gone from the perennial starter to now seemingly could be out the door. They would be having this same conversation to an extent. So there are things that we can do to make him better. That starts with on the training ground, asking him to do certain things or to at least work out what his biggest weaknesses are and work on them. We saw it with Ballo, we saw it with Negley, we've seen it with other players. So it can be done. The Neil can do it. He's got a pedigree and a reputation for doing that, especially with young players. So I do think he deserves that opportunity to do that. I wouldn't just throw him to the wolves because he's had one undesirable year out of a year and 2 years he's been here, where he's only really kicked on the back end of last year and he was an unknown commodity. I think he deserves better. And I think he's going to have until January to prove that, in my opinion, because he is still young. He's still an asset. You're still going to get good money for him, even if he bags what he's bagged last season. I still think you'll get a few million for him, and it'll still be an improvement on what we paid for him. I think you can't just. I won't be, like I say, I won't be unhappy if they sell him, but I won't be pushing him out the door because I still think we can get another striker in that you can accommodate. You can accommodate. I think you get rid of Langstaff, you bring two more in, and you make them work a bit harder, and you work out what Ivanovic needs to work on, and then you see if he does that.
And then, as I said, you get those wingers in that can do both, whip it in and take it to the byline.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think there's stuff we can do before we throw him out the door. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's like a Langstaff where it's, come on, mate, you've played in, you're just not good enough for this level. Ivanovic has scored goals. He's shown us that he can be a very good player, that he can be an unplayable player. The people are going to have down years. They are going to have down years. Look at Josh Coburn. People wanted him out. People didn't even want to sign him. And we're saying that he's our starter going into next season. Look how good he's been. I think in that same respect where we give the opportunity for players to turn it around, we've got to do the same for Ivanovic, who's gone from being really good to having an off year. It's the opposite for Coburn, who's been really poor to come really good. We've got to give Ivanovic the same.
My concern with Ivanovic, I'm not saying any of you are wrong, by the way. I think we're obviously coming from this some very different opinions.
I think we're all right in a way.
Great. My biggest concern if we keep him, I think his value's already probably dropped about 5 million from last summer. And if he then starts next season slowly, and we then try to shift him in January, you are genuinely looking at a £3 million player, which is.
And then you don't lose.
Yeah. But you've not gained. You have lost in a way, because I think if you sold him now, I think you could probably shift him for 7-8 million, if not more, to some Italian club.
See, the way I'd look at it is, we brought him in for, is it 3? Was it 3 mil?
2.5.
If we can,
okay.
Yeah, we'll say 2.5 then, right? If he's dragged you 2 seasons from being a bottom half mid-level tub to a playoff side, and you've recouped that money, then it's no love lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got your money back. He's dragged you further along as a club, and thank you for your
efforts. I'm not throwing him out the door. I'm not kicking him out.
And if he has a great season next season, and we make 15 million again, great.
I think you can't be too hasty, in my opinion. You can't just go, he's had a bad year, but he wasn't the starter. Yeah, it's not like he's been the main. He's not been the number 9 all year, and he's still got 9 goals, and he was a sub for most of it. Since January, he's been a sub. He's still got 9 goals. He could have well easily gone and got 15. You're bearing in mind as well, right? What we've got to look at. He was the only striker in a period of the season where we had no central midfielders.
Yeah.
So his only output, the only times he was ever getting the ball, was if Femi Aziz crossed the ball into him. Because we had no one else. We had no central midfielders that could pick that forward pass. We was playing left back, centre mid. We had Ballo, who was in and out. Ballo was completely ineffective. We had Femi having to do all the work. All the work was coming from Femi. As Ivanovic was having to drop a lot deeper. He's having Kundal play by the side of him out on the wing. You got to look at the circumstances around it as well. Like, we was asking him to do so much with such little around him. It was really difficult for him. And I think if he had a full season with Derek back there, with Negley playing as an 8, Femi Aziz, another winger, I think you see better output from him. I thought he was absolutely commendable in that period where he was the only one and there was no other striker to back him up. And he was fit and he played every minute and he worked hard. He got some goals. He sent us over the line. You look at QPR away. You look at Bristol City away. You look at his performance at Sheffield United. You know, he's been really good in games, but the circumstances around it have been really, really bad for him. Like I say, with the squad, the injuries to the squad really impacted his output himself because he would never get the ball. There was games he never got the ball. He had one chance in that Bristol City game. One chance. We had 2 shots on target in that game, and it was from the same move where Femi shot, missed keep, and then Ivanovic scores. He was very clinical with the chances that he had. I just think that we've got to give an opportunity with a fully fit squad and a better system around him to improve.
I hear you, and I'm going to move on in a second, but I hear you. But my issue's never been his output. His output is clearly 9 goals is good. It's his effort and application, and it's just not there for me. And
Sure.
do you know what?
That's got to be worked on.
There's a we could probably do this all day with Ivanovic, right, and probably never agree at the end of it. But the ultimate question is then, yes or no, do we think he will be a Millwall player next season?
No.
Yes. I think yes.
I don't think he will. I do want him to, but I don't think he will. I think the club can look at bigger picture.
1 no, 1 yes.
The reason I'm saying yes is simply for the fact of we are going to lose quite a lot of players, and I can't see a world where we let him and Langstaff go, have Coburn as a one striker, and then I think striker is probably the hardest position to go out and grab.
The problem I've got is, and I really hate saying it, is that I do think that Langstaff's probably got more chance hanging around than Ivanovic.
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
someone might want Ivanovic, yeah.
Right,
Exactly
Coburn's gonna be the number 1 striker. You're talking about Ivanovic, who's probably on a level of in scoring goals level of Coburn. You're gonna go and get another good striker and be like, you're gonna play second fiddle.
Well, Charlie, that's the reason I think he's going is not because I want him to go. I think he's gonna be the one to instigate that conversation with the club. I want you to sell me.
Yeah, no, if he
that's
goes,
where he's going to come from, and so that's why I think he's going to go. I don't want
I don't see a world though where we're fishing him out to go. If he gets an offer, then yeah, fine. But I just don't see a world where
we're not going to kick him out. We're not going to kick him out.
Everyone but Coburn to be the striker because, as I said, I can't see us going out and getting 2 really good striker options.
We're not going to kick. At the end, the bottom line is, I don't think the club are going to kick him out, but I don't think they'll stand in his way.
Yeah, fair.
Charlie, you've largely been outvoted, mate, because I think he won't be here either. So that makes it 3-1 that Ivanovic will probably leave. I think, in my opinion, I think someone will come in for half decent money and the club will cut their losses accordingly. I'm not saying cut their losses, make a profit, make a tidy profit, and I think they'll sit there and say, actually, if we get that £10 million, €10 million, whatever it is, we can invest that into 2 decent centre forwards, and you're sitting there going, Joe, what, actually, I think maybe we've seen the best of Ivanovic.
I agree.
So that is everyone. That is the whole squad. So I'm just going to run through who we've moved on because this is a chunky old list. Jensen, Danny McNamara, Wes Harding, Kamal Grant, Joe Brighton, Billy Mitchell, Barry Bannon, Reece Bangura-Williams, Femi Aziz, Benicio Baker, Lovelace, Ballo, Watson, Mayer, Langstaff, Matthews, and Ivanovic, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 players. And then
that's in some capacity. That's in like loans as well.
Yeah, some of them are loans. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So then the needs that we've got, we've said we need a starting goalkeeper. We think we need a starting calibre / backup right back to cement that role down and give us some versatility with Crammer. We think we need another centre back, very similar to Caleb Taylor last year, who can come in young and improve. We think we need a left back in a very similar ilk that can challenge Zach Sturge long term for that left back role. 2 centre midfielders, 2 right wingers, 1 left winger, 2 centre forwards, and that puts us on a grand total of 11 new players through the door this summer. So actually, the squad would be a little bit shorter, a bit smaller. Probably, when you then consider the likes of Matthews, Mayer, Benicio Baker, Lovelace, who haven't had an impact on the squad this year at all, we probably are like for like in terms of numbers.
You got probably 2 like Lamptey and Howland that'll probably be sniffing around the squad a little bit as well.
And then you're looking at loans as well that we're going to bring
Yeah,
in.
we
And
could
stuff
probably
like
bring
that.
a couple of them in. Yeah,
100%. But we'll, before we get to the, we might already go over 2 mark, but before we get to the push into our third hour, we'll call it a day there then. So that is what we think Mill will look like next year. That's who we think will leave. That's who we think will stay, and that's who we think will ultimately have an impact on the team next season. We've called out 8 positions there of need for next year, and over the next couple of weeks, we'll be giving you who we think we should be signing in each of them roles. You've already seen a sneak of a couple of names you've listed, the likes of Reyes Cleary, Mikey Moore, I'm sure will get mentioned again. He always seems to. So, as I said at the top of the show, make sure you give us a like, make sure you are subscribed to make sure you don't miss any content that's coming your way. We will be giving you loads across pre-season, so you definitely won't want to miss it. We've been the 885 show. See you on the next one.